So I want to be clear and concise as I can possibly be during this video. I do think that the news that Crystal Dynamics is now co-developing the Perfect Dark Reboot is a bit of a strange situation and a troubling situation for multiple reasons. And if you guys didn't know, this broke last night. Perfect Dark Reboot is going to be a collaborative effort between the initiative and Crystal Dynamics. The initiative has announced that the Perfect Dark Reboot project is going to be developed in partnership with Square Enix subsidiary Crystal Dynamics. This recently announced reboot to Perfect Dark series will be handled by the team that brought games such as Tomb Raider Reboot to life, as well as, obviously, Avengers. The initiative made the announcement through Twitter earlier yesterday. This is what the initiative had to say. Perfect Dark update. We are partnering with Crystal Dynamics, the world-class team behind character-driven games such as Tomb Raider, to bring the first-person spy thriller to a new generation. The teams couldn't pass up a chance to work together. We're still early in development, but incredibly excited to use this unique opportunity to deliver on our vision for Perfect Dark. Now, what's very interesting is here, and I'm going to break this all down because I feel like, you know, obviously, I think that it hurts a lot of people when there's perceived negative Xbox news. People are just quick to kind of jump to the defensive and think that, you know, it's the same thing as the Xbox One. This isn't that, but I don't think that this is actually great news for a multitude of reasons. For probably one of the biggest reasons is, which I'm going to get into in 1 second, but obviously, clearly, this game has been in development for a little while, and it seems like now that they're partnering with Crystal Dynamics, it's like you partner with somebody at the beginning of something, not the middle. Okay, so it leads you to believe that there's a possibility that this is getting rebooted, and that's what they're working on. So, with that being said, there is some interesting stuff here. Coincidentally, Daryl Gallagher, the studio head over at the initiative, previously was at Crystal Dynamics. He was the head of the studio while working on the Tomb Raider series. Meanwhile, while he was working under Square Enix, Gallagher worked on games like Deus Ex: Mankind Divided and Rise of Tomb Raider 20-year celebration. Perfect Dark is the initiative's first project. The game was announced during 2020's Game Awards and is aiming to deliver a secret agent thriller set in the near future world. Microsoft will be publishing the game after the formation of the initiative as a new Xbox game studio in Santa Monica. Now, the team behind the Perfect Dark Reboot was built bringing in some of the most talented game makers from around the industry who share a passion for storytelling, world building, and creating memorable game experiences. Daryl Gallagher actually believes that the team will be able to reimagine one of the most loved IPs in gaming history. The game is described as a eco-sci-fi adventure and will star the iconic character Joanna Dark. As mentioned at the time of the announcement, the initiative is hoping Joanna Dark will be able to steal a bit of Lara Croft's thunder, except with more ecological-friendly edge. Unfortunately, no word regarding the game has been made as of yet. We know that the game is coming day and date to Game Pass, obviously, but the big problem is this game probably isn't going to be coming out anytime soon, and I think that is a bit of a problem, to say the least. Now, I gathered as much information for a timeline as I possibly could. So, not only did we have a situation where the initiative made the initial tweets about that, you also had a situation where Crystal Dynamics also made a tweet about what was going on. And I thought that the wording in this was very, very interesting. Crystal Dynamics said, "We couldn't be more excited to join forces with the initiative to bring Perfect Dark to a new generation of gamers. We, as in Crystal Dynamics, thrive on reimagining epic heroes and can't wait to realize this first-person spy thriller together." So, what this means to me is, okay, which hold on, I want to get into this a little bit, but let me go back a little bit, okay? So, back in February of 2020, Phil Spencer actually played the initiative game. It was in a playable state. Okay, this game was in a playable state. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that there had to have been some work, some kind of idea, something done that you could play this game in, right? And then we saw that Drew Murray, who was working at the initiative at the time, tweeted out a picture of Phil Spencer, or Phil Spencer tweeted out with Drew Murray there that, he actually played the game and he's doing something. This was on February 5th of 2020. Drew Murray later on also said that his daughter got to play the game for over an hour and that it was better than it was months ago. So if you're playing a game in a playable state for an hour or hours at a time, that means that there's significant progress made, right? My problem is that was almost 2 years ago. Now, if we go back to what the initiative is saying, they say that we're still early in development, but it was in a playable state 2 years ago. And then you go and you look at what Crystal Dynamics is saying, and they said that they thrive on reimagining epic heroes. So my point would be, you bring in a partner to co-develop a game at the beginning, not the middle, okay? So the fact of the matter is, the initiative became a studio in 2018. Here we are in almost 2022. For me personally, and I know that a lot of Xbox fanboys really kind of went out of their way to damage control this and bring up the fact that Sony Santa Monica brought in Valkyrie Studios and The Last of Us 2 was made by a bunch of other support studios. Support studios aren't uncommon. What is uncommon is to bring in a AAA studio and co-develop a game with them on your first game, right? And the funny thing is, the initiative was supposed to be doing a quadruple A game, if I remember right. So, again, this is all very strange. And to me, and this is my opinion, to me, it sounds a lot like what's going on is they're rebooting the game, right? And this happens sometimes when you announce something a little bit too early. And what I mean by that is, look at Everwild, right? They announced Everwild in 2019. Now we know that Everwild, the director left, and they are totally rebooting that game. Don't expect it. I think that they're setting expectations as, well, this game has been in production for years. We've said that it's been in a playable state. People are probably expecting gameplay. People are probably expecting something. And the fact of the matter is, they're saying, no, we're still early. We're now co-developing this game with this huge outside studio. Don't expect it for a long time. Now, David Jaffe, who, as you guys know, was, the God of War creator and things like that, he actually spoke on this too. He says there are two big differences. One, as I say in his video, he says the vast majority, if not all, AAA games outsource, but they outsource to outsourced houses, not to established devs owned by another publisher. Number two, these tweets today were press releases from both studios that made it clear that this is now a collaboration, not just Crystal Dynamics taking on some extra work. That's not outsourcing. They paint this as a co-dev situation, and it's not what occurred in the games cited in the articles. So again, it does seem like it's struggling. Now, my entire issue with this is, it seems like Phil Spencer needs to go. Okay, let's take Bethesda Studios out of this. Okay, Bethesda run themselves. We know this. Okay, that's why stuff from them is probably going to be untouched, thankfully. But it does seem like, and I'm going to give you several examples, that Microsoft has an issue with a lot of their first-party devs, even the new ones, once they became Microsoft bannered. And this is another one of those examples. This studio came up in 2018. They had a playable game, at least in parts, in 2020. And we're almost in 2022, and now they're basically, looks like they're starting over, bringing this huge outside studio. That's not the only situation where this has happened. There's the aforementioned Everwild, which got rebooted, right? There's, which was announced in 2019, by the way. There's also Hellblade 2, announced in 2019. They said that they're still in pre-production. Still in pre-production. You have State of Decay 3, pre-production. You had Forza Motorsport, the next one, which it's been 4 years. That's still in early development. Halo Infinite. This game has had double the amount of time. Double the amount of time. that any other Halo game has had, and it's still going to be the only one launching without a co-op campaign. No Forge, no assassinations, the XP system, terrible, right? Fable. This game was rumored to have started in 2018, but they just hired a writer this year. How is that game still in such early production? Right? Like, listen, there's a problem at Xbox Game Studios. It's a leadership problem. I can't state it any more obvious than that. It really, really is. How can people honestly think that this isn't a running issue right now? Right? And I'm saying let's take Bethesda out of the equation. This is a huge issue that falls on Phil Spencer. Poor leadership. They can't get anything out the door. I've never seen anything like it. I would love your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Hopefully I made it as abundantly clear as I can. Let me know what you think. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Crap gamer out.